For a photo like this with a lot of foliage in the background, a lot of different depth of trees back here in the back, the best thing to do would be to focus on what's the furthest away. That should be darker and duller. And then what is closer, that should be lighter and brighter. You do want some different tones of greens and yellows in here because, you know, trees are not all one color. Um, so I'm going to be a little sloppy, so if you were doing this for real, you should be a little more careful about masking and things like that. But I just want to show you how I would handle it. I'm going to create a new layer and change that to soft light. And I have here a kind of a dull darkish green, 21301, and then the letter B. And with a soft brush at 0% hardness and whatever size you want to work with, I would just color right over everything that is your greenery in the background. And again, it's like I'm being a little bit sloppy just to save time here. You would definitely want to be more careful. I usually don't make a selection first because I'm just coloring with a color on its own layer. I actually just use the eraser. I don't use masks or selections. But whatever method you're using, you can adapt. So I'm just using the eraser and removing it from some areas like the wood fence. Okay, once you have that on there, if you double click out here, it will open your blending options. And I am pretty sure this has been around for quite some time. I hope it is. We go down here to blend if and leave that set to gray. And this is the dark green, so we want to blend it away if it's on the lighter area. So we'll go to the light end and pull this slider over, and you can see it starting to disappear from the light areas, and the further you pull it, the more it will disappear. And there can be a harsh transition, so if you hold down the Alt key and click on this, it will split that slider, and you can make a softer transition between where it's showing and where it's not. Click OK. And it is not a science. You just have to look at it and split it however you think it looks good. So I have a new layer set to soft light, and I'm going to switch to this other green. And another thing, this may not be the best green to use. But and that can be adjusted later as well. I'm just going to paint over everything that I painted over before. And you could even split this other tree into a separate. I probably shouldn't have gone over that tree. I should have focused on, whoops, should have focused on this area over here. Let me back up a little bit and do that. So I'm just going to focus on this side. Leave that tree alone. Now in this case, I want this color to show up on the lighter areas only. So I will go to the darker area and tell it to blend that away. And again, hold down the Alt key and split that. And you can move these sliders around to get it to look the way you want it to look. Now another thing you can do, we'll have a new layer set to soft light. This is a standard brush. I know it's been with Photoshop forever, and it's this brush that looks like a leaf. And then what it does is it scatters maple leaves. Let me get a new blank one. And what it'll take these two colors and it will alternate and do shades in between and just scatter leaves. This is what this brush does, which is really helpful when you're doing something like this because it randomizes it so well, way better than you could do. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go over, and you could choose different colors, but I'm going to go over all of these areas with this brush. And I wish that pole wasn't right in the middle of the photo. And that just sort of gives you a random range of colors in those trees with really very little effort. I'm just gonna try to erase this a little bit. And I'm just click once, hold down the shift key, click at the other end, trying to erase that a little bit. Anyway, that'll give you some random colors, and then if that's too much, you can always adjust the opacity, turn that down. I kind of liked it stronger. You can also pick different colors. If you want it to be fall, you can go with a brown color, an orangey brown, and you can make it look like fall leaves. But this looked warmer weather to me, so I hope this is helpful. Distant foliage, distant trees, they really do need to look like they have some depth and not be all just flat in one color. I hope it helps, and let me know if you have any questions.